next video. Oh, almost forgot to
This keyboard is cursed, but it sounds good. Howdy hey, I'm Hipyo Tech, and let me introduce you to Ben.
Time to catch these capybaras.
This epic Fortnite gamer is the Urban Rescue Ranch. Don't know who he is? Well, let me give you a little preview.
Jake Paul doesn't stand a chance.
Hey, it's me, Jake Paul.
Don't mind if I do. The Cappies escaped.
Look at him scratching his belly. Ooh, pretty soon he's gonna be attacking me.
Very mature little man.
Now, you're probably thinking, Hipyo, that was a fever dream. Dear God, please help me. Well, don't worry. So is this keyboard that I'm going to build him. Don't worry, I can explain why it's this cursed. But first, we have to go back to the subscribe button that roughly 73% of you haven't pressed. Just go ahead and press it. It's free. Trade offer. You give me subscribe, I give you howdy hey. Starting at the beginning, you're probably wondering, Hipyo, you're a keyboard and a tech channel. Why would you want to build a farming channel, a keyboard? Well, you know, I dabble in farming. I used to live on a little farm. And you know, Uncle Ben's content has kept me thoroughly entertained. Seriously, I've watched almost every video now. Now, I know Uncle Ben is an epic Minecraft gamer, but he usually plays on consoles and his computer is a MacBook. So for the keyboard, I actually kind of need to go with the Keychron. Okay, I say need, I don't need to, but it's got the little Mac and Windows switch on it, which is really nice, and it's only $199 US. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Hipyo, in your last video, you literally just said Keychron isn't the best keyboard. That is 100% true. However, I did start this video, as I said, about 5 months ago, where the Keychron was actually one of the best budget options possible. Now, I got custom keycaps made for this board, and let's just say I had them made for this specific layout, so once I picked it, I was kind of locked in. However, just because something's not the best, that doesn't quite mean that it's not still a good option. And the Keychron is a pretty good option. Why is the Keychron a good option? Well, because knobs are great. Knobs are really, really nice. Knobs are incredibly epic as they let you adjust your volume and pause and play, but in reality, I just really like them. Now, this Keychron that I'm using was originally fully pre-built, so it came with Gateron brown switches, screw-in stabilizers that were kind of pre-lubed, and keycaps that are less than stellar. Now, I had to choose between linear, tactile, or clicky for Uncle Ben. Now, clicky would have been an epic gamer moment, but they're really awful, and browns are browns. I've also found the vast majority of people tend to prefer linear switches, and I'll talk about my linear switch choice later. However, because the Keychron Q2 is hot swap, if he ever chooses to swap the switches, he could, and that's a pretty good option. It's also got some gasket performance, so if his prairie dog Big Ounce decides to hop on, he won't get hurt. And we all love Biggerton Ouncerton, even when he dies once a video. At the time that I picked this keyboard, Uncle Ben had a bunch of capybaras running rampant through his household. Like, seriously, they were running through his household at all times. So I decided to go with a fully metal case. Apparently capybaras really like eating plastic, so I didn't want to risk that, but they could eat the keycaps still, I guess. Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to modify keyboards to make them sound as good as possible. So I'm taking this thing apart with my WoW stick, link in the bottom left, and I'm gonna be modding it to make it sound as good as possible. Did you catch on there? I connected those two things. Speaking of things that are connected, you might notice that this board is connected to the case in a very weird way. This is called a gasket mount, and there's a lot of different mounting styles for keyboards. If you just want the short, quick version of it, essentially it makes it a little bit softer to type on, gives it that little bounce, and it's really nice. If you want to check out some other keyboards that are really nice, then feel free to check out some of my beginner guides. This keyboard also has a lot of foam already pre-installed, so I won't be having to do too much to it. Like, it's got this nice little anti-ping layer that I like to call it. It's an anti-ping layer. It's definitely not the most perfect way to get rid of ping. Like, I'd recommend a kill mat, which is like a car dampening mat, but it's not that bad. So that's the board completely stock. You hear there's a little bit of hollowness, a little bit of ping. So I'm just gonna bloop some tape on there. Now, if you're an avid Hipyo Tech viewer, you probably know exactly what this is. But if you're not, let me give you a 5-second explanation. I put tape on keyboards sound better. There you go, that's all you get. I've got a whole video on it, link in the top right if I remember to put it there. If I don't remember to put it there, comment, you suck, Hipyo. Okay, please don't actually comment that, because I'll probably forget that I told you to comment that, and then I'll see that you commented that, and then I'll get really sad. Anyways, I've now removed all of the switches from this board, and look, it's a nice little bare bones board. I could have started with the bare bones version, but then I would have had to get another board. Now you're probably thinking, Hipyo, how are you going to spice up this board enough that Ben from the Urban Rescue Ranch is going to like it? I mean, if he doesn't like it, he's probably going to send DaBaby the kangaroo after you. Well, if anything, I've got Epic Gamer RGB that's gonna pull me through, alright? Epic RGB Gamer Time is the perfect way to get to any gamer's heart. But I've got switches and keycaps that are gonna make this build really good. This is what it looked like with ceramic keycaps, by the way. So, next thing's next. Let me grab my bag that says lubed on it. Yep, that says lubed on it. You're probably wondering what lubed even means. Well, these switches have been individually hand lubricated to sound as good as humanly possible. This process took over 4 hours, and I generally don't recommend it that much because now you can buy a lot of switches that are really good factory lubed. But hey, it's fun, guys, it's fun. Also, link down below if you're interested in these switches that haven't been hand lubed. You have to do that yourself. So enjoy that part. Use code Hipyo to save 5%. Love you. Anyways, these are Gateron Milky Reds, essentially. They're really decent, they're really light, and they're linear. And when they're lubed, some of my favorite switches. Whenever I'm planning a keyboard build for someone that hasn't ever used keyboards before, I always go with linear switches. Now, maybe I'm letting them down by not letting them try tactiles. If I have them in person, I'll let them try tactiles. But I've found a lot of people are just generally not that friendly towards tactiles that I've experienced. Okay, don't get mad at me, tactile gang. Please don't get mad at me. Stop. Now, with a little bit of magic, the switches are in my keyboard. If you don't happen to have access to magic, I recommend you try and put them in by hand, as using magic without magic experience is severely irresponsible. After talking up the keycaps quite a lot, let's get into those. So 5 months ago, I reached out to Inferior Keys, and they helped me out making some custom one-of-one keycaps. I took some screenshots from Ben's videos, as well as some art from Beefed on Reddit, and his main profile picture. Then a few months later, the keycaps were done, and then they lost them, and we had to remake them. But here they are. They're in front of me. Look at them. Now you're probably thinking, Hipyo, why did you make this so cursed? Why so cursed? Well, this is the original design that we started with. Doesn't look too cursed, right? But then when you stretch it out across keys, it looks so awful. But I love it. I love it so much. This is one of my favorite creations I've ever made because of how terrifying it is. Now, it's been a minute since I built this keyboard, but it still haunts my dreams. It haunts my nightmares. And every day that Ben sees this on his little shelf, I hope that it gives him a little bit of nightmare haunting as well. In a good way. In a good way, okay? A good way. Now, this isn't like a one-of-one engraved keyboard or anything, but I was really proud to get a hit rapper and artist DaBaby, as well as a Kevin novelty, and a couple other novelties that I think are very fun. Oh, and did I mention Capybara arrow keys? Ever heard of it? Oh, I'm sorry. Do your arrow keys not have capybaras on them? Oh, cringe. Now, Inferior honestly knocked it out of the park with these. They are die-sub PBT, and the design process was pretty smooth. So I recommend you check out Inferior. They didn't pay me for this. They just helped me out for free. They do a bunch of different stuff on their website, so feel free to check them out with the link down below. Next, I asked my cat if she wanted to see the keyboard.
Wow.
And,
No? Too cringe?
Too cringe. But she really did love pushing the keycaps around my desk. That was like her favorite thing ever. And then she decided that they were also too cringe. Speaking of cringe, UPS was incredibly cringe and decided to delay the shipment, so I did not get Uncle Ben's reaction in time. If you want to see his reaction to getting the keyboard, I'll post it on my Instagram at HipyoTech, so feel free to follow me over there and I'll give you your little updates. Also, this is probably a collab none of you ever expected, but if you want to see me fly out to Waco, Texas, and go visit the Urban Rescue Ranch, then let me know in the comments down below. I'll do it. I'll seriously do it. I hate traveling and I'll do it. So then, before I give you the sound test, there was one thing left to do, and that was pack up the keyboard. Also, I tested to make sure that every key worked. I did not bend any pins. I am absolutely flawless at building a keyboard and did not mess up whatsoever in building this whole entire keyboard. I also gave him just an extra special HipyoTech gift. Nothing big. Here's a sound test. Watch to the end for a free NOLA cameo. Yes? What? Oh, okay. Oh, we got a NOLA cameo. And she's biting me. Okay, bye.
See you in the next video. Oh, I almost forgot to tell.